Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, wherever you are. Welcome to the show. This is Vegan World 2026 Moonshot podcast, and we are on episode 28. And today we are going to be talking about vegan cultural immersion. I call it vegan cultural explosion. Let's make it explode throughout the world. And our guest is going to be Zach Lovas. I'm going to introduce him. Welcome, Zach.
Thank you. Good morning to you, Dr. Celeste Rao.
Thank you for being here. So yours is a very fascinating story. I was going through your website and I was saying, my God, I want to know more about this man, this gentleman. So how did this start? How did you create Voyages?
It started 17 years ago. Basically, we used to coordinate for film, television, and media units, both on a production as well as even on a distribution side. And our focus was in South Asia and Southeast Asia. And then when we originally got in the film business, I've been in it since I was since I was a kid. Basically, 14 is when I started working. We got in with the naive thinking, which I think a lot of people do, that we can change the world. We'll change the world through cinema and through stories, and we'll make these stories that are going to make a difference. And then after after over almost a decade and a half in the film business and media business, we kept realizing we were just in it. It just had become another business, and we were doing a lot of things that were compromising what our beliefs were, our animal rights beliefs, our social beliefs, and it was just about making something that's sold, or even when you're coordinating for news units, making sure that you line up things that we're going to tell the story that they already came in with the preconceived notions of wanting to say, rather than actually looking what the story really was. So we one day said, hey, we're not getting any younger. So let's start doing things that we actually believe in. And the two things that we still liked so first we wanted to do something that kept in line with our animal protection, animal rights, and environmental beliefs. And then the one thing we did like still about coordinating for units was bridging those cultural gaps between film units and local communities. And what we saw, though, is even what the stories that we were involved with, the films or TV projects or news or media units or whatever it was, is those gaps weren't actually coming together. They were getting further apart. So we wanted to do something that actually could bring people hopefully closer together and understanding each other, because we have so much more in common than we do different. And so then we started Veg Voyages 17 years ago. We started with 3 trips in India and Rajasthan, India. And now we do over 27 vegan cultural exchange tours in 8 countries now. So every year.
Okay. Yeah. Now, who's the we?
There's actually it's a core team. I mean, it's a big team, but it's a core team of 5 of us.
Okay.
And we're 5 friends that shared from 4 different countries and 4 different faiths that share a mutual love of animals, of the environment, and of bridging cultural gaps and of history. So we came together. And one of the gentlemen that's my partner, one of the partners, is R.K. Singh, who was also, we were in the film business together in India. So when we would do stuff up in Rajasthan and stuff, he'd coordinate for that. So then we all got together and we formed this.
Awesome.
Voyages, yeah.
And who are the other 3? R.K. Singh is one.
The other 3 now is who came in later was Suresh Sharma, who you'll be meeting in Nepal when you come for the Himalayan Vegan Festival. There's Yusi, she's from Indonesia, from Jakarta. And then there is my brother, who unfortunately passed away this last week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whoa. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah, so that's so what we do is what we do is we create with local communities. We create the stories with them, basically. So we work with local communities. We collaborate with them, and we write a story with them. We create a story with them that then our guests live for 2 weeks. So basically, they're actually it's like reading a book. or seeing a movie, but in this case, you live it for 2 weeks. And these are stories that we have collaborated with local communities that hopefully, in the end, bring the guests to having a better understanding of the local cultures in the place that they're visiting. As well as it goes the other way as well, the culture exchange that the communities that we have, that we collaborate with and we work with on these stories, they will also have a better understanding of the people that have come, the guests that are in their communities, as well as on veganism. So, as well as on veganism.
So now the guests who go, do they stay in one place for 2 weeks? Is that how it works?
No, we actually, it depends on the story, but usually we go to multiple locations, but each of the locations are kind of, it's like interlocking stories. So each of the different locations has something to do with the whole story, that the through line that we work on with the communities. So it's multiple locations. Each of them has a different aspect, basically, we address.
I see.
In the story.
So you're sort of creating a movie experience.
Exactly. Yes. Some people say they feel like they're living in a documentary, or so good, in a good way. Those are the people that keep coming back. So
okay, wonderful. Yeah. So which countries do you work in these days?
Okay, so we're in India. We have trips in Rajasthan and Gujarat, and also in South India, primarily in Tamil Nadu. In Nepal, we have a trip called a Himalayan Tail, but it's a 14-day trip. Our next trip actually we're almost finished with, as far as ready to launch, is going to be in Mustang area, so it's near the Tibetan border. We also have another trip that we're doing in Nepal with Kuntal. So he's the vegan mountaineer that summited Everest twice. Right. We're actually going to do a trip that goes to Everest Base Camp with him and his team. And it basically, the idea of it is focus on the communities that have lived in the shadow of Everest and what their experiences have been and what their relation is to the environment, which is obviously, it's not that story is definitely, it's not about the rocks, it's about the people,
Right.
And then we have our trip annual trips in Bhutan, in Sri Lanka, which is very close to us. As well, because we had done work there during when the conflict was ongoing. And we also do trips in Malaysia, Laos, Thailand, Indonesia, where we have trips in Sumatra, which focuses on the people that are on the front line of protecting the rainforest and the orangutan. And then we also have a trip in Bali. And awesome. and next year we have a new trip that will be launching as well, and that will be in Cambodia.
Okay. Yeah. So what happened during COVID-19? Did you tell us your experience with that.
Okay, we were just finishing one of our last trip actually in Nepal, right? As kind of was COVID was unraveling, and then all the countries were going into lockdown, including Nepal. So we actually had to our guests, they canceled flights, everybody was in lockdown. We luckily managed to get everybody out on different flights and get everyone coordinated and safely out of the country before that. Even those evacuation flights almost came to a close, except for a few here and there in the month and stuff like that. And then I was supposed to go back to Indonesia, but as we were seeing the effects of the lockdown in Nepal very quickly, actually, we saw lots of animals that are usually on the street. They're whether it's street dogs or cows that were relying on these shops and everything being open, because that's how they would get fed. That's
right.
And then we also started seeing a lot of laborers, people that had come from the village that couldn't get back to their villages now, or couldn't get back to India. So we got together with our vegan activist friends there, and we put together a vegan relief meal effort, which we continued all the way through the lockdown. And so we had 3 different kitchens basically preparing vegan meals for the people as well as for the dogs, the cows, and the monkeys. And then we heard about some patients that were that were in makeshift homes next to the cancer hospital. They couldn't go back and forth. Obviously, that would have been too difficult. And also there was just no transport. So we started also preparing, giving them vegan food supplies for a whole week of meals, which we continue to do to this day. And so we continued to do that, and we're continuing to do that as well for the patients and their support families that are there. So it's about 80 as of last week was about 85,000 meals, vegan meals so far served.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and then on another level, we obviously all our tours have stopped. We haven't had any tours running since last March. Hopefully this fall, that's what we're hearing, even from the local authorities, and hopefully we'll be able to be back up doing tours then. But at the same time, we've been very, very busy with all our foundation work and the vegan relief efforts, as well as some other programs and projects through our foundation that we've been doing.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell us about the Himalayan Vegan Festival. What is your vision behind it, and what do you want to accomplish with that?
Okay, thank you. This is something we've been talking about for some time, and finally, after the team came together to do the vegan relief meal efforts, we were like, hey, let's continue this. This is, everybody worked really well together. So let's continue collaborating and bringing more people in to collaborate and finally get this festival. Now it's the Himalayan Vegan Festival. It will be the largest vegan event ever in the Himalaya, as well as of course, then by default in Nepal and Bhutan. And it's a whole focused, result-oriented festival is what we want it to be, and it's open free to the general public. So we want to encourage as many people that possibly can come as wants to, and everything is free to the general public. And then with the idea behind that is we'll have a big food court, food festival area where people can try all these plant-based items. In the process of doing that, we're training a lot of traditionally not vegetarian restaurants to do vegan. Which we can get into more later. We have a vegan sister city program, and so they will also be able to show off their vegan dishes while they're there. So again, a complete outreach. We're also going to have an education side for families. We're going to have live music, dance. We're going to have a big stage where we have panel discussions. That's where we call our pitch. That's where we basically say this is what's good about veganism from all these different aspects with the panel. And then we're going to have workshops, individual workshops, which then will be in classroom kind of settings. And that will be from cooking demo, from making what people usually use in their home dairy products vegan, from making what meat substitutes are, to how to start a vegan club, how to do an animal welfare club, environmental thing, recycling. So basically, those will all be things where people get the tools, the knowledge, as well as other tools to go home and from what they've learned at the festival to implement in their homes, in their kitchens, in their communities, and in their schools. So it's going to be a very result-oriented and focused festival. We have people from all over the world coming, and we're so grateful that you'll be there, Dr. Rao. So thank you so much. And we're going to have a whole cinema section as well, and we're also going to have some other celebrities that will be coming in, including local ones as far as in the Bollywood scene and Hindi. Sanam Puri, he's a singer, but he's also a vegan. He's a singer, but he's also vegan. So he's going to be coming up as well to perform. So we want to bring in people that we're interested in what is plant-based, but we also want to bring in people that have no idea or had no intention of wanting to. And then they could all come, open to the family-friendly, free event in the Himalaya, 3 days in Kathmandu, and then 3 days in Thimphu, Bhutan.
3 days in Kathmandu. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what are the chances of either Nepal or Bhutan becoming the first ever vegan nation in the world?
I would love that. And every activist that we're working with, all our friends, they would absolutely love that. And I know it is the goal of people like Radhe and for Suresh and Krishna Gurungji. That would be they want it to be the most vegan friendly, to start, they want it to be the most vegan friendly destination in the world. And then if it could be one of the most vegan friendly countries in general, that would be great. But as far as even destinations for travelers, they want that to be, and for locals. So what we've also started there with them is something called, with the World Vegan Organization, called the Vegan Sister City Program. And basically what that is, it's kind of like sister cities where they collaborate and but this is between local vegan activists in each of those cities. And then we've done up like laminate charts and curriculum on how they can go to bring it, basically veganism, directly to kitchens. to at restaurants or hotels, or and say, okay, look, looking at your menu, this is how easy it would be just to have a separate vegan menu as well. And then go through the whole lesson of how they can do that easily, and then also show them the marketing potential, because obviously for a lot of non-veg restaurants, they'll be open to something if they see, okay, well, hey, this can increase our client base. So. Right. So the idea is that each Vegan Sister City program is supposed to get 100 restaurants vegan friendly. And it's actually going quite successful. In Kathmandu, I think they're up to 40 restaurants right now. So that, which is a good number. And by the time the festival comes around, they want to hit that mark of 100. And the Vegan Sister City for Kathmandu is in Udaipur, India.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're doing well too. I think they're up to 25. So
okay. This is awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, ultimately, the environment is calling for, it's screaming for the world to be vegan as soon as possible. Yeah. Because, there is nothing that does not improve when you shut down the killing machine.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we're killing animals so fast that we are on track to wipe them out by 2026 if we don't do something.
Yeah.
So that being the case, we need to pick at least one country that would step up and say, we are going to do this. We are going to protect the environment. We're going to be the nation that sets an example. Okay, or the community that sets an example. So this is why when Dolly talked about Himalayan Vegan Festival and said, you need to come, I said, I think, the situation there, both Nepal and Bhutan it's the perfect cultural background in which to create something like this, right? A vision like that, it's not too big. Yeah. But it's also substantial, and I think it'll be awesome if they compete with each other to see who's the first.
I agree with you. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Because I think once you have the first vegan nation, the nation that says it wants to be the vegan nation, will have a huge halo effect.
Yeah.
Okay. So it'll be good for them to do that too. It's not just for those who are coming.
Very true. Yeah. Even like and in Bhutan, they one of the big things, it's like their national dish is cheese. Unfortunately, they mix it into everything. There's chili cheese and mushroom cheese, as well as the non-veg stuff with that. But they're have a higher dairy consumption, not necessarily as high as the meat consumption.
Right.
Yeah. So what we're doing by the time the festival comes out, and we've already started doing, we have our groups that are coming there, and we've actually made a vegan cheese equivalent. We've been working on recipes to make so it can be a substitution. But by the time the festival happens there, we also want to do a launch of one with all varieties that they can taste, that taste just like their cheese, that they could make with local supplies. And that's the key, is making it so they don't have to import in stuff. But so we want to have like a vegan dairy Bhutan, so to speak, or I don't know if I'm allowed to use the word dairy, but you know what I'm saying, the substitutions of the cheese, and that actually will make a big headway. But there's a lot of, both Nepal and Bhutan, like you said, they're going in the right, they can go in the right direction on it.
Right.
The only thing is like we're having everywhere, is you do have the outside meat industries and dairy industries that come in, and they do try to push and promote things that just was not part of the regular diet, or methods of farming that were definitely not part of the regular diet, to try to get more, of that, I guess, that exploitation on a larger degree than it's already been happening.
Right.
But it's at the stage now where you are seeing that they are being able to raise that awareness, and hopefully stop it before it gets, more out of hand, I guess you would say. It's already out of hand, but before it even gets on a larger scale.
That's colonialism, 101. Yes. That's what the animal agriculture industry is all about.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
So, who are the guests that you have coming? Can you
For the so
For
far
the
the Himalayan Vegan Festival, okay. Well, we have yourself, which we're very happy
yes,
about.
of course.
We also have Dr. Leanne Campbell,
Mhm.
the Colin Campbell Foundation, and also she has our organization called Global Roots. She's going to be on our education panel and overseeing on things that we can implement on an educational level, as well as in
Mhm.
organic farming. Who will be there. We have Ken from Happy Cow, the marketing. He's a marketing genius
Right.
at Happy Cow, and he's going to be coming there. And which is also important to show that veganism and plant-based diets is marketable. It can help your restaurant. It can help your product. It can help So he'll be coming there. We have, in addition to our local, we have Angela Shrestha of Project Humane Nepal,
Mhm.
Animal Nepal. Shristi Shrestha will be
Mhm.
there. We have Palak Mehta from Vegan First.
Mhm.
We have Courtney and Karen coming from Veg World. Veg World is our official media sponsor, worldwide media sponsor. They'll be there. We have Keegan Kuhn coming from Cowspiracy and What the Health, of course, and so
Right.
he's going to be there, as well as with his new film, the semi-new Running for Good, and everybody's really excited to see all those movies and have a Q&A with him on the big screen, at the big screen there. Oh my gosh! Of course, we just, as mentioned, Sanam Puri. We have our friend Kuntal, who's summited
Mount Everest.
Mount Everest twice as a vegan.
Right.
So that will be really great, because in addition to being such an inspiration, he's also living proof that yes, you can be vegan and still be strong and have endurance.
Right.
He's summited twice, once from each side. So hopefully, so far, Fiona Oakes from Running for Good, it will be
Mhm.
also be coming as well. Wow. Dr. Susianto from the World Vegan Organization, and also the King of Tempeh. He's going to be coming. And what we're actually going to be doing, because soya is a locally grown product as well there,
Mhm.
and they use it a lot. And so what we're going to do is, he's actually, beforehand, we're going to do training at the food science campus at one of the universities in Kathmandu, as well as in Thimphu. And he's going to show them how to make the culture for tempeh. So
Mhm.
then, because a lot of times people have to import in the culture or what have you for tempeh, but tempeh would be a great substitute for a lot of the the animal the meat that they're using there.
Right.
It would be a great substitute, and it's something they can get from things they're growing locally.
Right.
So and it's tasty, and
Right.
it's so many different things you can do with tempeh. So he's actually going to be training. So then the local universities, food campuses, can actually be making the tempeh culture, so that then they can provide to people as they want it. So then it becomes cost effective. They're already
Mhm.
growing soy, so they can use that. You can make it in the village. You can make it at an economical rate in the cities.
Right.
So he'll be coming. Coxetto, who's also, he's like the foremost voice for children protection and rights in Indonesia. He's also as being the foremost spokesperson for children. Even on a government level, Coxetto, he also is, like, some people call him the Mr. Rogers of Indonesia, because he also
Mhm.
is a celebrity on TV. He's got a very I know this because even when we were at the World Vegan Organization meeting in Tokyo, and we were walking together out there, and there's lots of Indonesians that also come to visit in Tokyo, and I don't think we could walk for 10 minutes without people stopping and wanting to get a photograph of them. So anyhow, but as part of promoting on protecting children, he promotes a plant-based diet.
Wonderful.
This will, as protecting the health of children, the mental as well as physical health of children.
Mhm.
So he's also going to be coming as one of the speakers. Wow. Oh, and of course, Rowdy Girl Renee is going to be there. So
Oh.
yes, so she's going to be there talking both about what she's done on a sanctuary level, but also on the ranchers advocacy, because the idea is
Right.
trying to let people know, local farmers know, that there is ways of doing this. And not necessarily, I know every country is different, but the idea that if this can happen in what everybody looks at as the meat capital of the world, America, then farmers that are there can also be doing similar things. And she'll be working with local advocates that are doing similar things to show that, okay, on a local level as well as international level, we can come, that this has happened. Of course, Dolly's going to be there, so we're very excited about Dolly being there, and we're looking forward to screening her movie there. So we already got the theater and everything blocked and having a Q&A with Dolly.
Wonderful.
And yeah, so it's there's more. I could keep going on. So,
Right. No, this is awesome because fundamentally it's a cross pollination that's happening, right?
yes.
Between
Yeah.
people from other places coming and then also learning from the people there.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So we have every major animal welfare and activist organization and activists are going to be there, and a lot of them are actually overseeing the committees. As far as
Mhm.
on the whole organizing, they're going to be talking. So it's going to be the synergy of everybody coming together,
Right.
which we're really excited about. So
Yeah. I mean, I really think that this is a great way to start something that would blossom into a vegan nation.
yeah, I agree. I agree. And also, Karma Denduk from Bhutan, he started the Meatless Monday program. It's called Junction Monday there.
Mhm.
And he's also on board as well. So it's everyone's coming together from all the different categories and walks. So it's great.
Awesome. Sounds amazing.
Thank
I'm
you,
really looking forward to it.
thank you.
You know.
And there's going to be lots of food, so please bring your appetites. We're going
Yeah.
to do so much eating. Yeah. So even on the workshops are going to be very. Oh, and Jaja, there's a restaurant chain in Bangkok called Veganary,
Mm.
or Veganery. Sorry. And they do all different types of vegan food. But she's like a master vegan baker.
Mm.
But she's also a great Thai chef, and she's also going to be there. So we're going to be doing like demonstrations and workshops, and it's going to be a lot of education, but a lot of fun, and hopefully, and hopefully set everything and keep everything, kind of give a boost to everything going in the direction.
Right. Yeah. So, what kind of support are you getting from the local governments?
Excellent, actually. We on all levels, and even from a ministerial level as well as
Mhm.
the tourism level. So on all different levels, we have some surprises that will be happening there on a government level, which I don't want to say anything yet, but
Okay.
yes. So we actually are getting a lot of support for this for the Himalayan Vegan Festival. So they'll be very active in giving local support to make sure that everything goes smoothly, but also promoting it actually, even through so promoting it on a local level as well as on a promotion of tourism level, which is good because if people can also see, establishments can see that it has a marketable thing on a tourism level as well. Everybody, it just starts making this concept that seemed kind of alien, even though it's not.
Right.
Just to open it up, make it more familiar. This is nothing. Yeah.
So, following on from the festival, are you thinking about having like regular, Zoom meetings and things like
We
that?
are. We want to do follow-up workshops with people, and then kind of have on questions they may have, whether it's on health and fitness, whether it's on what they need to change in their diets, whether it's on cooking in the kitchen questions. In addition to that, though, the Himalayan Vegan Festival will be an event that's happening once every 3 years, and every 3 years it will be happening in different cities in the Himalaya. So so then at different places anywhere along the range. So this is going to be the launch one, and the next one we'll be announcing at the festival as we officially hand it over to the next. Yeah.
Why did you choose 3 years? Why did you choose 3 years to
We may should decide to do it quicker, but right now, since everything has been so unpredictable, I would love to do it. We would love to do it every year to say
Okay.
things. And who knows, maybe by the time the festival happens, it won't be once every 3 years. But what we did is we said, okay, at the maximum, it's not going to be once every 4 years. It's not going to be once every 5 years. The maximum should be once every 3 years. And if we can do it sooner or have smaller events that lead up to it, then all the better. Definitely all the better. Because I totally agree with you. We are running out of time.
We're running out of time.
We are running out of time in a major, major way. So. Yeah.
In fact, I had this idea way back, maybe 3-4 years ago, of kicking off such festivals and then having one festival somewhere at any given point in time that you can put online. So
True.
You have a 24-hour festival for 365 days a year.
I would love that. So I agree. That would be great. Yes.
Yeah.
That would be great.
So I call it veggie gras. I remember I was calling it veggie gras.
I would love that. That would be great. But somewhat shortly, within a year after that, we're doing something called the Vegan Road Trip. And it's going to be from Karachi to Kabul via the Khyber Pass. And what we're doing is we're having mini festivals, 1-day kind of events in each area. And then when we're up in the village areas along that, which we're getting permission and permission from the village chiefs in those areas.
Okay.
And we're going to be promoting it from a plant-based point of view. Plant-based diet, good for health, good for the environment, and using what they have locally. And we're dealing with vegan activists in Pakistan, as well as with their contacts of vegan activists in those regions, as well as in Afghanistan that are interested in that, including but it's going to be from the plant-based point of view. So for a healthy diet. And then for the environment, as well as being able to use then what you can get locally, what you have locally. The NU, which is the largest Islamic organization in Indonesia, has actually adopted something that was done by Dr. Susianto and the World Vegan Organization. They've actually started talking about, and putting as part of their curriculum, so to speak, about the health benefits of a plant-based diet, which is great because it's I believe there's about 90 million people. It's the largest and technically Muslim organization in the world, the NU in Indonesia, and so that's been adopted there. Also in Indonesia, which is quite incredible, they've also have a vegan official certification process, which has been approved on a government level. That's happening there. So there are things that are happening everywhere. And so within a year after the Himalayan Vegan Festival, we're going to be having the Karachi to Kabul via the Khyber Pass road trip. So which we're looking forward to. And we're going to be doing some how would you say, mini festivals, but then there's also going to be having some Zoom on that for obviously in the more remote areas where myself and a small team of us will be, and then but we'll be able to bring in people and experts and speakers and people that people can relate to and everything.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So what I found when I started working in Rajasthan is that the local cuisine is fundamentally vegan.
Exactly.
So because they're eating just rotis and sabji every day.
Yeah.
And so it's really the people in the urban areas who are essentially going back to their roots, the indigenous roots.
Yeah.
Right. Because I think urbanization is where all this meat eating got promoted.
I completely agree. Yeah, and we find that a lot because what we do, following up on what you said there, what we do a lot before our trips when we're writing the stories with the communities, part of the process after we're writing the story with them is actually starting to veganize local recipes. But what we do is put that together. So we sit down and we basically, they write out their favorite family recipe, their recipes, and then we help them just show that how to veganize it. And most of the time, it's only a couple ingredients away from being vegan. And by the time we've made it like that, we're having, especially people that are the elders in the community will be like, well, that's how we used to have it when we were growing up.
Exactly.
Like, that's how we used to eat it. Yeah, and it really is. I mean, so the idea that, because yeah, I mean, the plant-based diet and being vegan or having a lot of plant-based food it's not a new concept, actually. It's like you said, it's with urbanization and all that kind of stuff, a lot of this has come in.
Right. And I think with urbanization, we kind of distance ourselves from nature. So we really don't understand what's happening to the animals before, that becomes the food that you're eating.
Exactly.
And the poor people in the villages are forced to do all this.
Yes.
Rearing of animals.
Very much so.
Even though they know that it's destroying they tell me, look, I know it's destroying my forest. I know that. But this is the only thing that the people in the city want.
Yeah.
And so it's that game of money that's sort of driving this. And so this is how I kind of figured out, tried to put all the links together and said, we're playing a Ponzi game. It's a Ponzi scheme.
It is.
And so those who have gained an advantage in the Ponzi scheme are saying, we don't want to change.
Yeah, very true. I think that's an excellent way of putting it. It is. It's a Ponzi scheme. It really is.
Right.
And we all know the outcome of those. So
yeah, I know. Yeah, every Ponzi scheme collapses, right?
Exactly.
So because this is why they want to keep growing the economy. Because a Ponzi scheme will collapse if it doesn't grow.
Very true.
Ask Bernie Madoff, right?
Yeah. Very true.
So, yeah, and fundamentally, it's about us saying, okay, we don't have to play this Ponzi scheme anymore. We can play a different game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's the game I need to introduce in Nepal and Bhutan. That's what I want to do when I come there.
Excellent. That will be great.
And say, okay, here is a new game we could all be playing,
Mm-hmm.
in which everyone is treated with fairness, and they know they're treated fairly.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's the way the game is set up.
Yeah.
And then you say, okay, with this game, what can you do?
Yeah.
And so we're actually working with the Indian School of Business people, and trying to create this new game. And so I'm looking forward to coming to Nepal and introducing the concept of the game and getting people signed up to just play that game too.
I agree.
You can play both games simultaneously. It's not like you have to play only one game.
It's true. Yeah. And I think I'm very happy to hear that, because on the workshops as well as on the panel, but as well as on the stage, but then also the workshops, that will be great. And I know that the activists and as well as non-activists will be very interested to hear this, because the way that you just put it there, as you so well do, every time I watch your speeches, it really connects. I mean, it really connects. So I think that will be really good and make a big difference. So both in Nepal as well as in Bhutan. So
yeah, it's fundamentally this is how human beings, we coordinate our actions among millions and billions of us.
Yeah.
Like chimpanzees can't do that because they don't know how to play games like this, right? So at least we have figured out how to play games and to tell stories, which is really what you're doing with your films as well. Telling stories.
Exactly. Yeah. Very much so.
Stories and playing games. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's finding a game that is sustainable.
Yeah.
That helps. As we play the game, the planet must thrive.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, until we start playing a game like that, the planet is going to die, because the game you're playing is a destructive game.
Very much so. Yeah. Right. And the timing is very right for this in Nepal and Bhutan, because you'll see even when you come, we'll give more details on that as well as we go. But the amount of outside pressure that's coming in on doing these Ponzi schemes, but expanding them, and with even the whole factory farming idea, and you need to consume more meat, and you need to consume more dairy, and it's getting, relatively for us, it's always out of control, but it's even getting, it starts growing that Ponzi scheme to a level where it's, beyond recovery. It can get beyond recovery.
Yeah, it's fundamentally COVID-19 is a signal from Mother Nature saying, your Ponzi scheme has gotten too big.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm going to send you to your room to think about what you're doing.
Yeah. Yes.
And so we are sitting in our room and figuring out how to grow the Ponzi scheme.
Yes.
Even more, with vaccines, right? So,
yes. Yeah, true. Very true.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, I know. And then the people that are involved on the big levels of the Ponzi scheme, they want to say, "Oh, don't look at that direction. Look over here. This is what happened. This is what the problem is."
Right.
Don't look at the right hand. Well, look at the left hand. Yeah.
Right. It's not. So I'd say, I talk about the killing machine and the burning machine, right? So those are the two machines that are destroying the planet.
Yeah.
And they're saying, it's don't look at the machines. It's just the fuel for the machines you need to change.
Yeah, exactly. Very true.
We need to change from fossil fuels to, solar panels, and then you can keep running the machines.
Yeah. But the machines are still running. Yes. Yeah.
Right. And not only should they be running, they should be growing bigger and bigger and bigger.
Exactly. Yes. Very much so.
I don't know how anyone can even buy into this anymore. It's
true.
Just nuts.
Yeah, it is. I completely agree. It's gone beyond what would even be a reasonable sale in a Ponzi scheme. But
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're excited about the Himalayan Vegan Festival. It's going to be, and again, a lot of these talks and workshops, it's result oriented. We want to give people, when they walk away from the festival, that they have things that they can start that day in their home or in their kitchen, their communities, and their schools.
Right.
The resources, the knowledge, and things they can implement. So
awesome. So that gives us a really nice lifeline. I mean, a timeline. Because that's April, right, of next year.
April 15th to the 20th, 2022. Yeah.
Okay. So it gives us 1 year to get this app running.
Yeah. No, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Right. It's a good way of looking at it. Very well said.
So that everyone can download it when they come to the festival.
Yes.
And spread it throughout their families.
Yes. That would be great. Yes. I mean, we could set up even a whole table just in addition to the workshop, like people just come over and they can download the app right here. This is what the app is. Just download. Any questions right here? Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, that would be great. Excellent.
We have the first version of the app that's going to be out in the next week or so.
Very good.
Yeah. But we are working on, the next revision. And also this game of Aquarius I'm talking about, which is the game of that's the game that you can play in parallel with the current money game.
Okay. Very good. That will be great, actually. And can maybe the app will be in English, but I wonder if we can do some local language versions of that.
Oh yeah.
That would be great.
So I'll connect you with the app developers.
Okay. Yeah, because we could have some people from some of the activists there. They could help do the full translations and all that kind of stuff, and as well. So there can be multiple versions, in Nepali, in Hindi, in English, like that, available.
What is the language of Bhutan?
Jonka. I never pronounce it correctly, but we can actually get it. We can get that also translated.
Wonderful.
Jonka.
Let's work on that, because I think it's a good preparation work for launching the Himalayan Vegan Festival into orbit.
I agree. Please, definitely. So once it gets to the point where it's ready to be translated, then let us know, and we'll get the people on board to translate it, because that would be great. Yeah. Wonderful. And when it's in the local language, as you know, then all of a sudden it goes from this type of audience to this type of it's
right.
Huge.
Right.
It just really expands the audience.
Right.
Yeah. So that would be fantastic. And we can do, the full promotion launches at each of those places for the local language versions. It would be great. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Very good. I'm excited about that. That's going to be, I know that I think Suresh may be watching right now. If he's watching,
okay, good.
He's probably already calling people to get to translate it. So,
awesome. Yeah. In fact, starting this Wednesday, I'm teaching a new course on the yoga of global transformation.
Okay.
So my goal is to get the course people, the students in the course, to actually work on this new game.
Nice.
The new economic game that we need to be playing.
Yeah.
Because it fundamentally needs to be set up in a way that that businesses also participate. So that, because they have to be honest about their ecological footprint. If you're not honest about our ecological footprint, we'll never be able to meet, to create a sustainable civilization on this planet. So it's really, to me, sustainability is about coming into alignment with the truth. So we have to become mindful of our ecological footprint when we travel as well. So because there is ecological footprint that's involved in that.
Yes.
But beyond that, it's our lifestyles. Lifestyles need to come into alignment with what the planet is asking for.
Very much so. Yeah, very much so. We even at the Himalayan Vegan Festival, there, Dr. Ian Singleton, and he's on the front line. He's the foremost expert as a Sumatran orangutan, as well as on, obviously, to save the orangutan, you have to save their environment. You have to save their habitat. It's like with a lot of species, they're dying off because of that. And he's coming to speak on that, but we're having a whole panel of different people in different situations that's happening all around, and how shockingly, when you see the statistics from everyone, from the different areas, a good example is what's happened to the orangutan, how much destruction has been in such a short amount of time, and how much this is related on one level or not to agriculture, as well as other things. But it's scary. And then, kind of it's when you get everyone together and you're finding it's not just happening here. It's not just happening here. It's happening everywhere.
Right.
And that we need to wake up to this, and not just wake up to it, but actually start doing things.
Have you connected with the regenerative projects like Sadhana Forest?
Yes, actually, and they're I believe R.K. Singh, who's the WVO chair for India, is actually inviting them. If he hasn't, they will be there. Like they came up to the Vegan India conference we did in 2019 with Vegan First. So the same way, they'll Sadhana Forest. We're hoping that they'll be there. So.
Okay. No, beyond being there, Sadhana Forest, I think it would be a good destination for the tours.
Yes, actually, and on our next South India trip, which is in everything going hopefully accordingly, will be in February of 2022, and that we actually are spending a full day out at the forest as well as part of the story there. Yeah, they're a great organization. They're a great organization in what they've done.
Yeah, and so people get an idea of how would you go somewhere and start regenerating the forest in that region.
Exactly.
And then go back and do that in your own home.
Yes.
And you come back.
No, they do great work. I remember when they were just starting on the outskirts. A friend of mine he's grown up in India in Pondicherry, and he went up and worked, and he loves the trees and nature, and he felt like he was in heaven actually, as far as on what he was able to do, because it is the regeneration like you're talking about, and even actually what they're doing with even in Sumatra in the rainforest, or the things that have been taken over by palm, it will regenerate. Of course, it's not going to be primary rainforest, which is a shame, but it will. Nature will take it back, and they're doing that in one of the sanctuaries that they're creating there for orangutan that can't be re-released because one of them was shot, has like 60 some bullets in it, pellets in it, and another one has hepatitis, so you can't re-release back because it will spread hepatitis within the wild population. But that area, part of it's on palm oil, and you'll see how quick it has been in a relatively short amount of time be able to come back. We just have to give it a chance. We have to give nature a chance. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but but we just need to give it a chance, and we need to give it a chance before it's too late.
Yeah, we need to give nature a chance, and the easiest way to do that is to shut down the killing machine.
Exactly.
Shut down the killing machine for anything, So this is why I say it's not just plant-based diet. Stop using animals for any purpose whatsoever. It's time for us to start respecting animals as fellow earthlings.
Yeah.
So, and that, fundamentally, that's when we have to give up our human supremacism.
Yeah.
The idea that we are this superior species, then we can do whatever we want. Well, if you do whatever you want, you're going to kill yourself.
Yes, exactly. We're greatly fooled when we think that.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So we're on this murder-suicide mission, so to speak.
Very much so. Yeah.
And so that's why I say, unless we talk about the killing machine, we will never sort this out. And so far, our mainstream focus is not on the killing machine at all. Right? They're only focusing on the fuel for the burning machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to get this message out very loud and clear that there is a simple solution to climate change. Go vegan and reforest the planet.
Yes.
Because as soon as you go vegan, the ocean is going to be released, so the ocean can recover. Almost half the land is going to be released back to nature, and then we can reforest on that land. So this is what Sadhana Forest is trying to do. And Sadhana Forest is fundamentally vegan.
Yes.
So because also when you have to close the loop on our waste, we can't be eating animals. If you eat animals, your waste is going to be toxic.
Yeah.
So who wants to close the loop with that?
Yeah. Very true. Yeah. And it can be done. So I know, because some people that we speak with, they're like, but what's the point? It's gone beyond. But it's like, we still can do it. We got to do it.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, we got to do it.
We got to do it.
We-
And obviously it can be done, because you
Yeah.
just eat this instead of that. So what's the big deal?
Exactly. I agree. And nature will jump in and do its share. Trust me. It's
Exactly.
It will. Yeah. Don't give up on nature. Yeah.
And as you said, it's really all of us going back to our indigenous roots.
Exactly.
Anyway, because that's what the people in the village are eating today.
Mm-hmm.
Even today, when I go there, that's what they're feeding me.
Mm-hmm.
When I go to Rajasthan, they're feeding me vegan food.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. And it's and like I said, we hear that consistently when we're veganizing with local communities. I mean, it's never like, oh my gosh, why would you eat it like this? It's never that. It's never that, actually. It's like, oh, this is how we used to cook in the village.
Right.
I used to cook when I was younger. Or, hey, this tastes just like it.
Right.
It's never negative, actually, surprisingly. I mean, and I mean, it's not surprising, but at the same time, you go in with certain things in your heads, and you're a little worried, but it's never that way.
Yeah. It's the way we were before we were colonized.
Exactly. Very much so.
Right.
Very much so. And a lot of our stories, when we're doing them, that's when we're tracing things back with the communities. That's where it goes. I mean, so much of these things that sometimes people, and this is just a generalization, and I know generalizations are never good, but sometimes from the West, they say, oh, why are they doing this in this country over there? Or why are they doing this? This was an imported concept, actually, that came in there. And so it's not, I mean, even if we want to look at palm was brought in. It wasn't done. It wasn't Indonesians who brought the palm oil.
Right. Exactly. It was Cargill.
Exactly. So sometimes people just point the finger and say, wait a second, if you trace it, just follow the money, follow the, and it goes back. And that's with a lot of things. I mean, that's with a lot of lifestyle things, community things, stuff like that. Yeah. So
thank you so much for your service, for what you're doing, and it's spreading this throughout the world.
Thank you, Doctor.
You're an amazing human being.
I'm not. You're being kind, but thank you. It's nice to hear some kindness.
Yeah, and you were telling me about the boards behind you.
Yes, you can those. I'm old school pinboard style. So just like, because in the film business before, I'm sure a lot of in other industries too, your ideas, before we had Google, the shared docs and all that kind of stuff, we would put up the ideas, or when we have a story that we're doing, we put it up, and then you can rearrange it in the order that first act, second act, third act, or for logistics, what needs to be done. So I still do that. So that's what these are. And each one is a different story. This is Thailand right behind us here. Over there is Laos and Sumatra. So still I'm getting old.
No, that's awesome. Thank you for bringing your gifts to the movement.
Thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing that app. I know. Suresh is either watching this now, or he's going to watch, because of the time difference. He's going to watch it, and I know he's going to already be on getting the translators ready.
Yeah, we are going to be talking about the app during our Vegan World 2026 convergence, April 24th and 25th.
Okay.
And so we have 2 hours scheduled for discussing the app and helping people download it and start using it.
Excellent.
Yeah, and so I will send you an email introduction to the developers of the app.
Okay, that would be great.
Okay. Yeah. As soon as this is over, I'll do that. Excellent.
And then again, Suresh, I know will be getting translator, and then also Karma G will get the for the language, so we'll be able to launch it both local languages in both Bhutan as well as in Nepal. That would be great.
Yeah, it's an app that helps people monitor their diet and go vegan, and it helps them educate themselves and also then communicate to others and monitor how well they're communicated.
That is excellent.
Yeah, so it sort of has this feedback loops built in, so that you know how well you're doing. That's fantastic. Yeah, that would be great. I know that will go over very well. And if we can, we'll get it. If we can get a Hindi version too, because there's a lot of people coming up for India for the festival as well. So that would be great. Awesome. Yeah, we will make sure that those things happen by next year for sure.
Excellent. That would be great. Very good. Yeah.
Any closing thoughts for our viewers?
Oh wow. There's so many thoughts, but yes. I just, everybody. I know you. It kind of sounds cliche, but keep the focus. Don't give up. And hopefully everyone, will, as things start opening up, we'll all be able to come together in a collaborative fashion to try to make this change. Because like for 2026, and every year, every step that it's going, it gets closer, but at the same time, the chance of saving gets further away.
Right.
So, So
we need to keep our eyes on the prize.
Exactly.
Which is that this is unacceptable that we have a killing machine on this planet.
Completely. And if anybody wants to join at the Himalayan Vegan Festival, as far as wants to come on over and visit, and please, it's can I give you the website for the Himalayan?
Sure, absolutely.
It's HimalayanVeganFestival.org, and there's also a Facebook on it, and they're updating it with new speakers, new people coming on board every month, and if you can just share that, there's posters and stuff to share. And just get the word out wherever it is, but also for any festival, any event, anything that's out there, anything that we can all come together, whether it's on Zoom or whether it's on signing petitions, wherever we can all come together. It's so very important.
Absolutely.
And we're all. It's not a country of, it's not a country of 330 million. I don't know if that's the population of the U.S. anymore. It's not a country of 1.3 billion in India. It's a world of 8 billion. And I know that may sound cliche, but that's what it is. And that's what we're living in. And we need to think not as individual countries, but as a people of one world of 8 billion people.
Right.
And we all do, in addition to the problems we have, we also, to our cultures and everything, have so much more in common than we do different. Unfortunately, we have politicians that like to show the difference. Keep us apart rather than have us come together. It helps for the Ponzi scheme.
Right, it helps for the Ponzi scheme. But, it's a world of 8 billion humans and 20 million other species.
There you go.
We are all in this together.
I agree.
We are all on one spaceship called Earth.
Yes.
And we're going to sort this out.
Yes.
Because we have the ability to do it. And we have people like you who are helping to make this happen. So thank you very, very much. Yes.
Thank you very much.